In today's episode of the Pool Pond series, we're picking up right where we left off last time with a beautiful, functioning ecosystem. But even though the pool pond is flourishing, there's still a few things that we need to add, including a lot of cleanup critters and small invertebrates that make the basis of the food chain, as well as some different fish that you guys keep begging me to add. So today, we're going to be catching a ton of different fish, a ton of different creatures, and even one of the fish that every one of you guys has been begging me to add to this pool pond. But we're also going to show all of the cool creatures we already have added, including some insane feeding footage that I never thought I'd be able to get. We got all of this and so much more in today's video, so I hope you stick around to the end for today's episode of Pool Pond Season 2, Episode 4. And we're going to start off by talking about my favorite creature that we added in the last video, which is this Amphiuma. Now, if you haven't heard of an Amphiuma, they're basically eel-like creatures, but they're actually more related to frogs and salamanders because they're amphibians, not fish. Also, to the right of this crate, you can see the gar that we added in the last video. Sadly, you don't get too much footage of him in this video because he was very elusive, but I was able to get a few glimpses of him here and there. But back to the Amphiuma, this thing is super cool. It looks like a little monster when it's in the water. That's why we called it Leviathan. It's like a sea monster. But this thing is all over the place. It loves to hang out around the bottom of the water and come up for air every now and then, which is an awesome sight to see. Now, this species in particular is the three-toed Amphiuma, which you can kind of see on that front leg right there. And even though it looks like they're kind of smirking with their mouth, those things are hiding some nasty teeth that I would not want to get bit by. I think the current finally pushed this little island out this way instead of staying there in the middle. So maybe I'll work on bringing it back. I don't know. It seems like the fish are all still comfortable. And I think this gives it a little bit more cover on the other side of the pond. And you can see here, we got a bass right there. Got another one of the bass right there. But even though we have a ton of awesome creatures, there's still a few that have been slipping away from me. So we're going to head out tomorrow early in the morning to try and chase after a specific fish that I've been after for a long time. To chase the fish that we're after, we're going to have to drive up a few hours all the way to Kincaid Reservoir to try and finally catch our chain or grass pickerel. Sadly, this wasn't the best story because after driving a few hours, I fished literally all day trying to catch this fish, and we literally caught nothing. I mean, it looked like the perfect spot. There were plenty of bait fish swimming all around in these massive schools. There was tons of cover for them to hide in, but there was nothing. So we drove all the way to the opposite side of the lake, walked down some trails, and tried to catch fish in another spot. But sadly, it was the same thing. The only thing that ever happened was I got a single bite, which ended up getting me hooked on a log and losing my fishing lure. Got me stuck on the log. Dadgummit. With my patience worn thin and me down a few fishing lures, it was time for us to head back home, and on the way we actually got to see something pretty cool. Since this is a public park that doesn't allow hunting, there's a whole lot of deer, and I got to see a whole family of them running around not even 30 yards away from me. But these aren't the pickerel that I'm after, so after watching them for a good few minutes, it was time for me to head back out and stop at some different bodies of water on the way home. But maybe it was just the weather or something, because I never caught a single fish. Not a bass, not a bluegill, nothing. The only thing I was able to catch the entire day was this teeny tiny garter snake. Such a pretty snake. They're also very docile. I think a lot of people don't realize that. Most snakes, as long as you're not like grabbing them and like squeezing on them, putting pressure, they'll usually just kind of chill. Make sure they're not venomous first, of course, but this guy's a little harmless fella. There you go. Have a nice swim. One final cast for good luck. Sadly, after hours of driving and even more hours of fishing, we went home completely empty-handed. But that's okay, because tonight I'm going after a different species that I know I can catch. Okay, tonight we're going to be trying to catch a specific kind of fish out here again, which is a bullhead catfish. But as you can tell, it is very dark out here, and the only light I have is my headlamp, but we're about to change that. Today, we're actually going to be trying out this thing. It's called the AC200L from BLUETTI. It's a solar-powered generator. Now, I don't have the solar panels that go with it. I just recharge it from the wall. But this thing lasts a long time. It's a little bit dusty because we already took it on that big road trip. I charged my phone twice on it, and as you can see, it's still at 97%. With this thing, I can do a whole bunch of stuff. Like right now, when I'm night fishing, I can put these lights on, and they absolutely shine over everything. The light is bright enough that I can see all the plants in front of me and my bobber way out there perfectly clearly on camera and in person. It's got a really cool display that shows you your output and how long it can manage that output, so we can have lights on for over 100 hours. On top of that, it has several plugins for wall outlets, cigarette lighters, whatever this little plug-in is for. and your heavy duty appliances. And even though it may look giant, this thing is not too big. It's easy to carry around, put in the bed of a truck, or even take on a boat with you. And I think it'd be really cool to take this thing out on a boat to be able to fillet your fish using an electric fillet knife, or to have some music going, have some lights on, charge your phone, all kinds of crazy stuff. This thing has it all. And if you can't tell, this thing is already covered in dust because I've been using it all over the place, and it is awesome. I'm not gonna take any sponsorships from things that I don't truly believe in, but this thing has been an awesome lifesaver. I think the coolest part is also it only takes about 2 hours to charge from 0 to 100. It was insane how fast this thing charged. Also, if you get their solar panels, it can charge in 2 hours on a sunny day, which is incredible. I'll put the link in the description and the pinned comment if you guys want to check that out, but we're going to wait a little while for the catfish line to get hit, and in the meantime, we're going to walk around the bank of the pond looking for some big crawfish. Our bait of choice tonight is some large night crawlers. We got it set up on a bobber that's set really deep. Hopefully tonight we'll have the catfish moving. We just had a little bit of a rainstorm, and usually that gets them nice and active, but we'll have to see. With all the rain we just got, there should be a whole lot of crawfish active too, but we'll have to see. Looks like down here we got some baby bluegill chilling out, but no crawfish yet. That right there is actually a baby bass. Ah, too fast. Dang. Well, that one was too fast, but if you guys want me to catch a bass from back here, like one of those itty bitty baby ones, and raise it in an indoor tank, y'all let me know. That'd be a cool video to do eventually. Oh, did I get him? Ah, I missed him. There's another baby bass. I'm trying to catch one to see it up close to make sure it's not like a shiner or something. They look like bass, but they are quick. Well, this is our first sign of crawfish. This is a very freshly dug crawfish hole here. So there's probably one hiding down there. So they should be active, but I just have not seen one yet, and I'm about halfway around the pond. I did not find any crawfish, but if you look right there, that's actually a little amphiuma. I say little, I mean it's a decent sized amphiuma. But he's just slithering around, and I lost him. But we already got the one amphiuma. I think two would probably be crowded. I don't know if they're solitary animals or if they're okay being together. Y'all let me know in the comments down below, any of you guys who know about amphiumas. Can I get a second one? Would they fight? What kind of problems would that cause? Would that be good? I don't know. So y'all guys let me know in the comments down below. I don't want to catch one just yet until I have a little bit more research done about them. But looks like we're coming right back to where the generator's at. Went all the way around the pond and did not see a single crawfish, which is kind of crazy. Oh, but I'm coming back just in time. The catfish line is hit. It's still on, whatever it is. Ah, it feels small. Yes, sir! Exactly what we were after. Perfectly sized. Ooh, very fat. Bullhead catfish. Let's go. Just what we were after. Okay, I don't want to get stabbed by him. Woo! Okay. We got him secured. We're gonna run him up to the pool pond and then come back and try and catch maybe one or two more. All right, here's our catfish. It's a little bit hard to see into the pool pond right now. I didn't want to get stabbed, so I kind of just dropped him in. The water temperature is the same. Everything is good. I've been testing the water. Everything's good, so I know he's not going to die in here, and the water temperatures are the same. That's why I didn't worry about acclimating him. Plus, catfish are like super hardy, so I'm not worried about him dying from acclimation issues. As you can see, the pump, we had the electricity go out actually, and the pump cut off. So for about a day, I didn't realize it, and this got pretty murky. So you can see there that catfish has kicked up some of that sludge. But we're working on getting this thing cleared back up so we can get some awesome underwater footage. Let's go out and try catch another catfish. The next species of catfish I'd like to catch is a channel catfish. I know I have at least one, but it's going to be tough to catch him. So I threw my line back out and waited a little longer. Okay, so we've been out here for over an hour, and it is only moved down 1%. So it definitely isn't telling a lie when it says 100 hours. I mean, it hasn't even moved down from that 99.9 hours thing, and these guys have been going full blast the entire time. What I'm really excited to do is take this thing out saltwater fishing so I can put it on the boat. I can keep my phone charged, I can fillet fish, I can do all kinds of different stuff and have this thing going so I don't have to come back off the water to charge my phone or do anything else. So with this thing, you guys are gonna have some even better videos because I'll be able to film for much longer. I'd really love to catch a blue catfish or a channel catfish. I don't know if I have any small enough in this pond, and all the ones that I've caught everywhere else have been way too big. So that's gonna be another target species we try and get for the pool pond, but right now it looks like bullheads are the only thing hitting. But I do know of at least one good sized channel catfish that would be perfect size for the pool pond that I caught in a previous video. And if I can catch it, I'll definitely put it in the pool pond. Oh, we got one. We got one. Oh, come on. My rod's stuck. There we go. There we go. Feels like another small one. Perfect size. Let's go. Oh my gosh, these guys are fat. Another good sized bullhead. Perfect size for the pool pond. We'll get him unhooked and brought back out there. I think we're just gonna leave in this live well for a little bit. If we can catch one or two more, then I'll bring them both at the same time. I'm just gonna go ahead and cast back out. All right, that one bit much faster, so hopefully the scent's getting out in the water and it'll pick up a little bit. Now, I only want maybe 3 or 4 of those bullhead catfish. After that, we might just keep them out and eat them because they have absolutely infested this pond. Now, you may be wondering why I don't like bullhead catfish in my pond, and that's because they absolutely crush all the competition, and it's very difficult to have other species of catfish when the bullheads are eating all the bait. I mean, you guys saw how fat the last two were. They're eating really well, and they're kind of starving out all the other fish that I need. At the same time, they reproduce like crazy, so there's so many of these bullhead catfish and not enough of my other fish. Bullheads are kind of like crappie. You don't want them in your backyard pond because they'll absolutely crush everything around it, but they're still super fun to catch in lakes and rivers. Well, while I'm waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and catch, let me rinse that off, some of these freshwater mussels, and we'll drop a few more of those in the pool pond as well. Oh, we got another one. We got another one. He's moving. Oh, this one seems bigger. There we go. Nope, never mind. Oh, yeah, he is bigger. Golly. Not by much, but good Lord, these things have been consistently super fat. Golly. Well, another catfish. I think 3 bullheads is plenty for the pool pond, so if we catch anything else, it's got to be a channel cat or a blue cat. Otherwise, we're just going to throw them back. All right, we're hoping for a channel cat, but in the meantime, I think I'm going to go ahead and take these guys up to the pool pond, and then we'll come back out, check on this line. We might wait another 45 minutes or so. If we don't get anything, we're just gonna head inside. 1, 2 little catfish swimming on down. You can kind of see him swimming around down there. I know the water clarity isn't the best right now. It looks like he just went into the cinder block over there. But if you look, you can see Leviathan right there. He's taking up a little spot right next to this crate and rock pile. That seems to be his favorite spot to hang out late at night. I've never seen this at night before, but in this little piece of dog fennel, I say little, it's pretty tall, there's a little lizard sitting right there in the middle. And then over here, I thought I saw another lizard, but this is actually a praying mantis. So it's pretty cool to see them at night where they kind of roost up and hang out. In the daytime, I'm sure you wouldn't be able to see it, but at nighttime, they kind of stick out like a sore thumb. Oh, and then over here, you got a big old grasshopper chilling. Holy cow. That is a massive grasshopper. Jeez. Well, as much as I love playing I Spy outside, it's time for us to go back to our catfish line. All right, well, got back. Nothing's hitting it yet. We're gonna stay out here for a little while longer, and then we'll pack things in and go to sleep. We got a big day tomorrow. All right, well, it's been about an hour. We haven't caught anything else. I think it's about time for us to pack things up. That's pretty crazy. I've been out here for 3 hours and it's dropped 3%. So it's definitely gonna run these things for about 100 hours, which is insane. Now, once we pack up out here, I'm gonna run inside and try something out with this because I just had a crazy idea. All right, so I wanna test out if this thing can actually run a TV and an Xbox at the same time. Maybe you're out on the water or you're out somewhere else and you wanna just play an Xbox or something. I'm gonna turn on our power. Okay, look, so it's showing we got output. Let's try to turn the TV on. Oh, okay, it's working. And just so you know, there's nothing plugged to this outlet or that outlet. Everything is going through here. Now it looks like it's pulling out a good bit of wattage from the Xbox, but according to what it says, we could run it for 17 hours? There's no way. Okay, I realized I hadn't turned the Xbox on yet, so I just turned the Xbox on. Saying 9 hours? There's no way. All right, well, it looks like everything's working just fine. I was kind of expecting the power to kind of cut off or something. It's mellowed out at about 8 hours, which seems like a pretty reasonable number. This thing, keep in mind, only took 2 hours to fully charge, and this is running a 65-inch 4K TV and an Xbox Series X. So this is a high input type of setup. Now, I unplugged the Xbox, and it now is going to give you about 17 hours. 17 hours off of this one box, one charge. So if you're out on the boat, or you're camping or something like that, and you don't want to miss the football game or whatever else you want to watch, you can bring a TV with you in this little thing, and as long as you've got signal, you can watch the game anywhere in the world. Now, for a super compact setup like this, I'm very impressed, and I'm not going to take any sponsorships on things that I really don't like, and this thing, let me tell you, I absolutely love it. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get some sleep because tomorrow we're going out to catch some more fish. The next morning, before I head out to do any fishing, I wanted to get some underwater footage to see if I could find where those catfish went after last night. Now, it seemed like my hunch from last night was correct because they were hiding in the cinder blocks. You can see the tail of it sticking out right there on the right side, and then some other fish kind of swimming around them. But now it's time for us to head back out and try to catch a pickerel in a new location. I've heard that some of these slow-moving backwater swamps are home to these pickerels, so I took my light rod and my fly rod out to see if that was true. We got a fish already, first cast. Not the fish we're after. That guy's got a chunk bit out of his tail. We've already got a goggle eye in the pool pond, so I threw this guy back and hope to catch something different next time. Dramatic little fella. We got a fish? No way. Another fish. That's a catfish. It's a bullhead catfish, it looks like. Ooh. He's got a little, ouch! Tried to stab me. He's got a little bald spot on him. Ooh, yeah, catfish stung me pretty deep right there in the hand. That is not fun. Ouch. There we go. We got something. Bass? Bass? Yep, I think. Yeah. Pretty little bass. Ooh. Nice, beautiful little sucker. Not a giant, but a real healthy fella. We're gonna release him back. We got plenty of bass in the pool pond. Man, this thing right here is a multi-species crusher, dude. Got one, got something. Ah, looks like another bass. Yep, another bass. Pretty one. But again, not the species we are after. All right. There he goes. After catching a whole bunch of bass, it's time for me to switch over to a topwater lure to imitate a frog. I've heard that pickerel feed heavily on frogs in the fall time, so that's what I'm going to try to imitate with these little poppers. But after fishing for a good little while without any bites, I started to lose hope until something crazy happened. Well, fly fishing here may not be the move. Ooh, got something. Bluegill. All right, well, of course, as soon as I say that, we're going to catch a fish. This is technically a new species. We haven't caught a regular bluegill yet. There we go, on our top water. But that is not what we're after. There we go. That's something. That's something good. That's something really good. Oh, what is that? What is that? Oh, it's a good-sized bass. Come on. Come on. Get on land. Decent sized bass. Look at that. Oh, ouch. All right. That's the biggest bass for sure that I've caught on the fly rod. Nice little sucker. Probably about a pound. Not too big. But for this rod, I mean, that felt like a big fight. I thought I was about to be on a grinnell or something. That's the cool thing about fly fishing. You really get to fight the fish. But there we go. Beautiful fish. Not what we're after, but still a fun catch. Let's let this guy go. There he goes. As the bite started to pick up, it seemed to be the same two species biting, and that was bass and bluegill. And that made an awesome day of fishing, but our pickerel was still evading us. Ooh! Look at that. Bluegill. There he goes. This is only my second time really using a fly rod. And it's been really fun. It's a completely different thing from regular fishing. There we go. The last ones I had, I think they were supposed to float, but they always just ended up sinking very slowly, and they didn't really get as much attention as this thing has. These little topwater ones, they're definitely so much better. And as you guys can see, they catch all kinds of different fish, big and small. Ooh, what was that? Bass. Oh my gosh. That was cool. I hope I got that all on camera. Man, if we were doing bass fishing, we'd be having a heck of a video. Ooh, chill. Ah! Dang it. He slipped up and got me stabbed with my own hook. I'm getting all kinds of hand injuries right here. Quit it. Quit it. God, stabbed me in my thumb with my own hook. All for this itty bitty little bass. Little turd. Thank you for playing. Get on out of here. Ah, man. Look, I got stabbed there by a hook. Stabbed there and there by the catfish. This hand just ain't getting a break. Ooh, God. I looked away because I heard a splash far away. And I just heard the splash of this thing going under. Another beautiful bluegill. There we go, another bluegill. There we go. Oh man. Tough fishing for the pickerel, but shoot, everything else is going crazy for this thing. With the fly rod only catching bluegill and bass at this point, I switched back over to my micro rod to see if we can catch that pickerel. There we go. What is this? Ah, bass again. Dang. Pretty one. Really defined line on him, but not what we're after. He was just small enough to where I was thinking for a split second that maybe he was one of those little grass pickerel. But nope, just a little small bass. There we go. Is that another bass? Another bass. Another little tiny one. All right, I think that one's even smaller than the one we just caught. Man, I tell you what, if we were bass fishing and that was like our goal, then I'd feel quite accomplished. But all I need is one single pickerel and I will be fully satisfied. It can be 2 inches long or it can be 16 inches long. Now, if it's like 16 inches long, obviously we're not gonna be keeping that for the pool pond. But usually around here, you're lucky if you even catch a pickerel that's over 12 inches because they stay small. I'm basically trying to find as many ambush points as possible and fish those. So like right here, if I go in between these two little stumps, that's a good little ambush spot. And it seems like we already have something. Another bass. Dang. Oh, this one's got a very defined line. Wow, that guy's pattern is very dark on his side. But again, not the species we are after. It's kind of... But like I was saying, that's a good little ambush point. And that's what I'm targeting, any kind of ambush point. Again, I'm going a little bit faster than I'd normally retrieve this. Ooh, jeez. That's a stud right there. That's a stud for a red-eye sunfish. Ooh, beautiful red-eye sunfish right there. He just smoked it right here at the bank. But like I was saying, these, most of the time, those fish will attack it when it's a little bit slower moving, but the pickerel are supposed to attack it when it's real fast. So I've been retrieving it a little bit faster than usual in hopes of catching a pickerel instead of some of these other fish. But I guess reeling it real quick got the attention of some other fish too. All right, well, last cast in this area, and then we're gonna have to pack up and go to another little backwater slough that maybe has some better pickerel. I don't know. I thought for sure I'd catch one back here, but we've been catching just about every species in these waters except for a pickerel. Something came up again, right here by the bank. If you get a bite, the last cast doesn't count as the last cast. There we go. Ah, bass, dang it. Another pretty one. Very defined line again. The genetics back here have been really cool. They've had very, very defined sidelines on them.
Look at that dude. There's no way. Is that the same fish we caught earlier? He looks like he's got the same pattern. Maybe not. There he goes.
Now as we're heading back to our new spot, I noticed some movement out in the distance, and on the other side of the bank there was these really weird birds with long curved beaks. I'm not sure what kind of birds these are. If somebody could tell me in the comments down below, but they're really cool to watch. They were dipping their beaks down in the water. I'm not sure if they were looking for food or if they were just drinking, but as cool as these birds are to watch, they're not the pickerel that I'm after. So again, we got to move on and try to find that pickerel. This thing has become a unicorn that I just cannot prove exists, and some people around me are thinking that I'm just making this fish up. So we got to catch one to prove all of them wrong. So let's move on to our next spot.
Oh, well, pretty little goggle eye, red eye sunfish, whatever you want to call it. These guys are quite plentiful out here in this little backwater area. But again, not what we're after. I'll toss him back. There he goes. Another gar hit it. Ah! Deadgum gar is tearing it up. I might need to switch to like an inline spinner or something. Something that the gar is not going to be able to rip apart. I think that was another gar I just hit. That is, yeah. Okay, we got to switch to something other than this soft plastic because they are just tearing up all these plastics.
The gar were tearing up my soft plastic, so I switched over to a rooster tail because I heard that that's the perfect bait to use to try and catch pickerel.
Got something. What is it? What is it? Oh my gosh! A gorgeous bluegill. Beautiful fish. There we go. Got one. Another bluegill.
But after catching more bluegill and bass, I finally was able to hook into a brand new species, and this one is one that fights harder than any other we've fought so far.
Gar, you won't feel it with gar. They'll sit there and chew on it in place. Oh, that was a huge fish. Oh my gosh. That's a massive grinnell. Oh my gosh. Good Lord. Oh, no. Oh my gosh. Big sucker. Hefty boy. I don't want to hook my finger. Okay, we're good. Oh, big grinnell. Whew. Wait. 4.98. We're going to call it 5 pounds. Oh my gosh. Very big, very strong fish. To catch this on ultralight is very impressive. So we're going to go ahead and release him though. I don't want to keep this one today. Let's give him a second to recover. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Look at that. Ooh.
With my rooster tail now torn up, I had to switch back over to another spinner with a soft plastic.
Oh. Nope. Is that a... Looks like a red-spotted sunfish. It doesn't have any red spots. That's weird. Little fella. Oh, golly! Dude! Chunky fella. Another chunky one. These red-eye sunfish, goggle eye, whatever you want to call them, they have been hyper aggressive today and very, very healthy. But these are a very big competitor for those pickerel, so maybe that's why we haven't caught any pickerel yet. Either way, we just gonna release this fella. Well, there you go. There we go. Bass. Or, nope, another goggle eye. Another big, healthy, pretty one.
If you're wondering what I'm using for bait here, it's a creme spoiler shad.
All right, fun fishing, fun catching. But again, not what we're after. It's the last spot I can cast at. Dadgum, I can't see where I'm fishing. Ooh. Something? Bass. Dang it. Oh, it was long and slender for a split second while it was midair. I was like, maybe? But nope, just a little bass. There he goes. I knew there was going to be something ambushing right here. Dang it. Something just swam up ahead. Oh, another thing. Good size something right there. Ah, another goggle eye. Dang it. Well, that's definitely not what we had swimming around over there. Maybe whatever it is still sticking there.
And even though we had an awesome day of fishing, we still have not caught our pickerel, and that means we might just have to wait until next video. But for now, let's get back to the house a couple days later and see what's going on at the pool pond. And here, as you can see, the water is super clear, so we can finally see all these fish, especially these red-spotted sunfish that love to nip at my fingers. And while the water is nice and see-through, we're going to go ahead and feed these fish and give you guys some of that awesome slow-mo feeding footage. First up is an itty-bitty baby bluegill that I threw in, and the bass slurped it up. I'm pretty sure that was hog, but I'm not 110% sure. And here's another one with an even closer look. Just look how wide his mouth opens up to slurp up that minnow. We just had a massive rainstorm come through, and it almost filled it up to where it spilled over the edge, but it's only about an inch away. Luckily, all the fish are still in here. Actually, that's the crappie right there. That's the first time I've seen him this close to the surface. All the fish are doing good, but oh my gosh, I did not realize how much rain we were gonna get. This thing is like full to the brim. Surprisingly though, the water's actually fairly warm still. I expected it to be really cold because of all the rain, but temperature seems to be pretty stable. And since the rain came down so much, we're gonna go to the backyard pond and set out a couple traps to see if we can catch any of the fish, crawfish, or anything else that's gonna be moving through this water. And once the water level goes down, we'll come out here, collect whatever's in the trap, and put it in the pool pond. This is the first time I have ever seen the Amphiuma out in the daylight. So you can see his tail sticking out right there. You can see all the fish right here are staring at me, waiting for me to feed them, which we'll do that in a second. But we've also got some beautiful flowers coming off this water hyacinth. They've kind of drifted over to this side instead of staying in the middle, but that's okay. It seems to be working pretty well. A big problem I am having is this thing keeps falling into the water. So I think it's time for us to finally remove that shade cloth and see if we can replace it with some natural plants instead. So if you've been watching this pond build since the beginning, it's gonna be really cool for you guys to see something, because now, as we've gone later into summer and into fall, the shade that this tree provides us is a lot more. It's covering about half of the pond right now in the heat of the day. And that's kind of crazy because before it wouldn't even cover here. So now that we've gotten into fall, we don't need that shade as much because naturally half this pond is already shaded and the tree is not overhanging. I know that branch looks like it is, it's way on the far side, but the tree isn't overhanging, so there's no danger of this being hit with the tree branches, but it's still able to shade half of this pool at all times, which is awesome. You can also see that second batch of lily pads is growing really well. I think with the shade cloth over it, bugs were able to come in and eat little holes into them, but that's not going to be a problem anymore. And you can see down there, there's some hornwort growing up right next to it. Everything seems to be doing really well. We haven't lost any fish to my knowledge. And the gar, I haven't seen him in the daytime, but he's in here somewhere as well. Also, our little crappie friend has gotten a lot more brave and he's starting to come up a little closer to the surface. So that's really cool. I'm hoping eventually he'll be able to eat out of my hand as well. It looks like all the commotion is kind of making the Amphiuma move his tail a little bit. The crazy part about that Amphiuma is I know he's somewhere in here, but I cannot see him at all anywhere. He is a master of stealth. That guy is crazy. Oh, wait. Okay, I just saw air bubbles. Okay, the Amphiuma is right there. I wonder if I could get him to eat. Ah, dang it. It's so hard to get the Amphiuma to eat out of my hand or anywhere close to me. But you can tell he's right there. His head's poking in right in that little cranny. I only saw it because I saw the air bubbles come up. That guy is super stealthy. Now, if you look at Hog right here, he's got a raw lip. He had been fighting with Storm Jr., so I ended up relocating Storm Jr. to the backyard pond instead. So they won't be fighting anymore. I don't know why exactly they were fighting. Maybe it's because I added the first two bass together. And then when I added Storm Jr., it was a little while later. But you can see Pickle right there off to the side. He's doing great. And Hog's right here. I'm going to see which one of these is willing to jump the highest out of the water to get this grasshopper out of my hand. Now usually I just gotta tap the water with the bug and then lift it up and they'll jump out, but these guys jumped up before I could even touch it to the water, which kind of gave me a little bit of a fright. It took them a couple tries and a few near misses, but then they finally were able to snag it out of my hand, and I believe this was a bluegill that finally managed to snatch it. Now with fall approaching, one of the best and worst times of the year has come, and that is love bug season. And it used to be my least favorite because of all the nasty mess that it would leave, but this right here is a love bug, and they are a perfect food source for all these fish. So love bugs have been landing in here constantly and constantly be getting eaten by these fish. So I have a natural, very plentiful supply of food for these guys. Came out here to check the trap, and it appears we caught a bullfrog in the trap. And our other trap is sitting right there. We'll check that one in a minute. First, I want to see just how big. Oh, that's a good size sucker. That's eating size right there. Well, even though this one could be eaten, I'm still going to let him go. Let him grow a little bit bigger, get some thicker thighs on him, and he'll be a meal way off in the future. For now, buddy, you take it easy. Here's our second one. And it looks like a whole bunch of little small bluegill, pretty much. All right. I think this bluegill is probably just small enough to where a hog can eat him. Maybe not. Guess not. Well, maybe he'll be able to live out here in the pool pond. Next one, this one's definitely small enough. Oh my, I didn't even see which one got him. Last one. I can't even see. Golly, that was way too fast. Now, a pool pond like this needs a constant supply of food, so me and my brother Silas came out to catch some cleanup critters and some new food for these fish. Fish don't just eat other fish, they also need to eat crustaceans, invertebrates, and all kinds of other crazy critters, so that's what we're after today. Here we caught a whole bunch of baby crawfish and little minnows, as well as some tiny snails and other things that you'll see here in a minute. Not only are these a good food source for all my fish, but it's also a good cleanup crew that's going to help eat all the algae and nasty stuff at the bottom of the pool pond. We spent a good time scooping up minnows, grass shrimp, crawfish, snails, and even a few other odds and ends. I was especially excited to catch these big snails because they're going to help take care of our algae problem that's becoming a big issue. On top of that, we got a whole bunch of grass shrimp, which are super good at eating that algae and providing a good food source for these fish. But by far, the coolest thing my little brother found was a teeny tiny crawfish that had hundreds of little babies curled up in his tail. And once we had a nice bucket full, it was finally time to bring it all back to the pool pond and release these fish, and hopefully not have all of them eaten. There we go. We got a ton of fish. Keep the net lifted up. Oh my gosh. We'll have to search in there to check in a second. We have a ton. So luckily we got enough to where I should be able to dump them in there, and all of them should not get immediately eaten. We're also going to go and dump them over into the plants so that they can have a better chance. Yeah, so the water's gotten a little green, so I'm hoping that these snails, crawfish, and shrimp, because there's lots of those little shrimp, I'm hoping they'll help clear things up. I'm kind of put these somewhat close. Oh my gosh.
Feeding frenzy. Holy cow, there's a lot of dead ones.
The dead ones will get eaten immediately, so you can see they are kind of being hunted down mercilessly, but a lot of them are going to survive. They kind of shocked a little bit. It's going to take a minute. There's a lot of this floating debris, which I'm hoping helps confuse the fish a little bit. But as you can see, some of them are coming off to the side and taking cover in the roots. And the ones who are straggling off to the side, they're kind of getting munched on immediately. Luckily, things like this snail, it is alive. They will find their way down without getting eaten, so that's really good. And a lot of those shrimp, since they're clear and really tiny, they should be able to make it to safety as well. Oh, I just missed it. The crappie's coming up. There we go. That's cool. That's the first time I've ever seen the crappie eat. You can see down here, we got a feeding frenzy going on. Crappie's down there. He's about to come up. Oh, look at that. It was actually kind of impressive that the fish weren't fighting each other, and they were all just kind of eating their fill without being too aggressive towards each other. The only thing that concerns me is if I add a pickerel, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get along with all these other fish. It seems like this mix of species that I have is the perfect ratio for them to not be attacking each other. I'm kind of hoping that the crawfish, tadpoles, and shrimp were able to live a little bit longer. I'm hoping that since they're a lot smaller, we didn't catch any big ones, maybe they'll have a better chance. You can see we got a snail hanging out right here. We've got some other stuff hanging out. Look, there's a little snail right there as well. Luckily, it looks like a lot of our shrimp are safe. I'm going to kind of put him over here in this grass, so he'll have a nice little spot to eat food and not get eaten immediately. But oh my gosh, these other fish are tearing them up. Look at this, gone.
Any of these guys who don't stick next to the plants get eaten fairly quickly. Oh my gosh. Oh, that shrimp. He just got stuck. No, don't let him get eaten. I want these shrimp. Let me put him back over here. There we go. That guy jumped and got stuck to the wall. All right, it's been several days. We got new flowers in bloom, and not only on the water hyacinth, but also on the lily pads. These are the first blooms in this pool pond. The last one, we had lots of beautiful blooms, so I'm expecting to get a whole lot more. I think the other one is not too far behind, but look how gorgeous these flowers are. One minor problem I'm still working on is getting the algae under control in here. I think we're gonna have to go out and catch a carp and put it in here. If not in this video, then that's gonna be a high priority for the next video. A big problem we've been having is a whole lot of rain, and that's really just mixed up all the sediment in this water and kind of got that really murky. So as you can tell, we can still see the fish. We just can't see the bottom quite as clearly as we usually can. Hopefully within the next few days, that problem will solve itself. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it seems like that lotus is nearing the end of its life cycle. So we need to switch that out for something that's gonna be a little bit more longer lived.
There's also a big patch that was covered with a shade cloth that now needs some structure, so I'm going to be working on that, maybe not in this video, but definitely in the next one. But we're going to come back out here at night to see if we can do something crazy. As you can see here, I've tied a worm on the end of a string so I could drop it right in front of the Amphiuma, and we're going to be seeing if this guy can finally eat for the first time on camera. It took about a minute for him to realize there was food nearby, but once he grabbed it, it was gone in an instant. But that was way too fast, so I went ahead, grabbed another worm, and tried again. This time, I accidentally dropped it a little too far behind him, but he searched it out, grabbed it, and ate it, and just as fast as the first time. And this right here is why Amphiumas need those really sharp teeth to hold these worms in place as they chow down. But I tried dropping a few more worms down to him. Sadly, once the fish realized I was dropping worms, none of them could hit the bottom without being immediately stolen, and I think the Amphiuma was starting to get a little annoyed. I kept trying to feed him, but then he would just slink back into his little cave, which is that crate that the turtle used to go into. And speaking of turtle, Ninja the turtle has been MIA for a couple weeks. I'm not sure if he escaped whenever we had all that rain. It is possible that he climbed out and escaped into the backyard pond, but I have no clue. I haven't seen him in a little while. And at this point, there's no way the bass could have eaten him. There's no way he would have died without me seeing it. So I think he just kind of escaped. I'm going to keep my eyes open for him and see if I can spot him within the next couple weeks, but if I can't, then maybe we'll get one that's even bigger. That way we'll know where he's at all times, and he won't be as sneaky as Ninja the turtle was. But back to the Amphiuma feeding, I kept trying to drop more worms to it, but as the fish started to school up and see what I was doing, I could not drop enough without them being completely eaten every single time. Even when I threw a handful of multiple, they did not make it more than 5 seconds. Now something really cool happened when Leviathan shot up towards the surface to get some air. It was really cool to see just how fast this guy can be when he wants to. And it was really crazy to see he only needed to breathe in for a couple seconds and then he was right back down to the bottom. In my opinion, the Amphiuma is the coolest creature that we have ever added to any of the pool ponds. And I'm hoping that as time goes on, he starts to trust me a little bit more and eventually, just maybe I can feed him out of my hand. But for now, we're going to go to bed and wait a few days for the water to clear up. All right, the water is much clearer. As you could see last night, we've been working on this. I've been changing the filter out, and I think it's about time for us to switch out some of these plants. As you can tell, the American lotus over there is dying, and there's a lot of plants like these little things that drop some leaves in the water. I need to get in there, clear all of that out, and replace it with some fresh new vegetation. Okay, so I cleared out all of the dead and dying plant material. We do still have a little line of these plants that are nice and healthy. As I was cleaning it up, I have stirred up the water a whole lot, and I actually scared the Amphiuma out of some of these as I was cleaning them up. But anyways, now that we've got all that stuff taken care of, we need to go out and get a whole bunch of new plants all over here, and then hopefully that'll help clear this water up a little bit too. Well, that was the plan for today until my buddy Sheldon hit me up with a text message telling me he knew where to catch some pickerel. He told me he knew about this pond where he's caught a couple in the past, so he and I went out there to try and catch some. But when we showed up, there was a massive problem. We were planning on fishing with spinners and other things like that, but when we showed up to this spot, there was about an inch layer of duckweed all across the entire surface of the pond. Ooh, as I'm walking, that is a very beautiful snake right here. Ooh. He's stuck in that crawfish hole. I think that's a mud snake, if I'm not mistaken. They've got that real pretty belly on them. Ooh, and there he goes, slithering away. Beautiful snake. I believe that's a mud snake. What's that?
What type of snake is it?
I believe it's a mud snake.
Well,
Black with a red belly. Ooh, little garter snake hanging out right there.
We'd been fishing for hours and all we had ever seen were a couple snakes and a few ripples, and that's when something crazy happened. There was a massive ripple right in front of me and I cast over to try and catch it.
What'd you do if that thing hit your pole?
Reel it in. Oh, dadgummit! You called it. You called it.
Are you still breathing?
Yeah.
I hope he smokes you again.
Say that line again.
Huh?
Say that line again. What would you do if...
What you gonna do if it hits your pole?
Reel it in. Oh!
Oh.
He snapped my line. Dude.
You think he'll hit this topwater frog?
He should. Dang it.
We fished here for hours and never caught a single fish. I did get a couple topwater blow-ups, but none of them ended up being hooked, so I had to pack things in and call it off for today. Maybe we'll come back out here with some smaller frogs to try and catch these guys, but for now, we'll have to wait on the pickerel. But before I go home, Sheldon told me he thinks he can get me some blue catfish that I can take home to the pool pond. We went out to this really muddy pond in the middle of a cow pasture, and he started throwing out his cast net, and we caught something that is insane.
This is a tiny bowfin. The cool thing is, since this is private water, we can actually keep this one. You can't keep them from public waters if they're under 18 inches, but that guy is perfect size for the pool pond.
Even though this is an awesome catch, it's not the catfish that we were after, so Sheldon threw a few more times to see if we could get some good sized catfish.
A little teeny tiny catfish, not sure exactly what type. We're gonna throw him in there. That bowfin is not dead. He's just sitting on his belly for whatever reason. He's still very much alive. Okay, there's quite a few more catfish here. I think we'll take a few of them. If the bass eat a couple, that's okay. Ooh, don't stab me, sir. Ooh, gotta be careful, them spines are like little needles. That is the exact size catfish I have been after right there. And then there's a few small ones. I think we'll get a lot of these small ones too. And then whatever gets eaten by the bass, gets eaten by the bass. And whatever survives, survives.
Now, I think these are channel cats, but if some of you guys know what they actually are, let me know in the comments down below. We also ended up catching this turtle by accident, but it's way too big for the pool pond. My phone ended up dying, but here we are back at the pool pond to release all the different fish we caught.
Now we're gonna add all of those creatures that I just caught. Now I do apologize, my phone was almost dead the entire time, so I couldn't film most of the cast netting, but let me show you everything we caught. All right, let me drain some more of this water. This is not the level that I had earlier. I just drained some of it while my phone was charging. But you can already see, oh, there he goes, there's one. These little catfish. Now I'm gonna drop him in and see if the bass tries to get him. Now I have been stabbed already by one of these guys, so you gotta be careful. Their little spines are like needles. Okay, see oh, no! Let's see if the bass spits him out. I think with the spines, the bass is gonna have to spit him out, I think. I don't know if he's gonna be able to swallow it. Dang. Well, the good thing is we've got about 100 of those things. So he's definitely not gonna be able to eat them all.
Here's a little update from the future. The bass absolutely can and will eat a whole lot of those catfish.
Now, the only reason I hadn't added a bowfin before that is because Louisiana law says you can't take any bowfin that are under, I think it's either 16 or 18 inches. I think it's 16. You can't keep any that are under 16 inches, but that's only for in public waters. In private waters, you can keep pretty much any fish. So since this was caught in a private pond with the cast net, we'll be able to release him into the pool pond. I don't think the bass is gonna attack any more of them. Oh my gosh, he tried to. So the bass tried to. Oh my gosh, that tiny, oh my goodness. Okay, well you can see the food chain working itself out. Good thing is, if you look right here, we do have some much bigger ones that the bass will not be able to eat. And this bowfin, the bass isn't gonna be able to eat him either. So a lot of these guys are gonna survive. Unfortunately, some of these smaller catfish are probably gonna meet the same fate that our other catfish met. Now, I don't know what kind of catfish these are. They're a little bit small and hard to tell, so it might be blue cats, it might be channel cats, it might be bullheads. I'm kind of thinking they might be bullheads, but let's see if we can give them another snack. There's a little bluegill that we caught. We're gonna go ahead and drain this out. As you can see, there's a ton. They should help a lot with all that algae, and I've heard that catfish are real good about cleaning stuff up, so we'll see how that works out. All right, there's all the rest of our catfish and that bowfin. I'm just gonna release them all at the same time. temperature is about the same, so you don't have to worry too much about acclimating them. They're going from a very similar climate right back into this climate. Oh my goodness, their spines are all caught up in the net. I did just put a little bit of debris in the pool pond. Hopefully the filter will catch that. But it looks like most of them just kind of swam off. I don't know if y'all can see way down there, but there's one of the bigger catfish scooting around in that mud layer at the bottom. There's a little catfish down there. These guys are stuck. I'm gonna have to pull these guys out. Hold on. Now, I guess as you can see, those bass have no problem eating some of those smaller catfish. So it's a good thing we have some bigger ones, like right down there, that silhouette. That one's definitely too big for them to even fit in their mouth. There's a couple big ones hanging out down there. I don't know where the bowfin went. He's probably going and exploring. He's just the right size where he's not too big to where he's gonna eat the bass, but he's also not too small where he's gonna get eaten by the bass. So I'm just kind of scooting around trying to see if I can spot him. We can see our crappie down there, bass over here, bass right here. Another little catfish swimming down there. Those, as well as like the crawfish and everything else, that should be a great addition to cleaning up and maintaining this pool pond so we don't have massive algae blooms like we have just recently. And while I'm here at the pool pond, I want to give a huge thank you to Sheldon. Genuinely, if he didn't give us that bowfin, if we weren't able to catch that, there would be no legal way for me to get one. So this is the only way that we could have got that bowfin. So y'all make sure you say thank you, Sheldon, in the comments down below. Because man, I was looking for one, but legally speaking, there was no way for me to get one until now. So that's an awesome, awesome catch. And then with these catfish as well, they should help clean everything up.
Now with the creatures we've just added, they're going to have a massive appetite, so we have to go out and catch even more bait fish for them, and maybe even some plants to help filter out all the excess bioload that's now going to be in this system. To keep up with all the predators we now have in the pool pond, we're going to have to catch a wide variety of different bait sources.
So first off, we do want to get a whole lot of this plant. We're going to bring that to the pool pond, but there's a bunch of creatures that live inside that plant. It may not look like much, but that right there is what we're after. That is a teeny tiny aquatic snail. And even though that thing is itty bitty, that can do a whole lot to the algae problem we've been having. I am going to get a few more of these minnows too to help feed these fish, but I'm primarily trying to get a whole lot of those snails in all this vegetation. There we go.
But not only are there minnows, there's also all these crazy invertebrates that make the bottom of the food chain, and they're absolutely necessary for a functioning ecosystem.
All right, we've got a bowl full, or a container full, of all kinds of different things. Now we have a lot of these minnows that are probably gonna get picked off fairly quickly, but for right now, I kind of want to get them to where they're eating stuff, but not eating everything. And honestly, if they eat all these minnows, that's okay. We've got plenty more that we can catch later. Ooh, that bass is going nuts. But we really need all this grass and those micro creatures that aren't gonna be eaten immediately by these fish. It's gonna make a little bit of a salad island. My goodness, that bass is jumping out of the water. There's tons and tons of those minnows. They're probably gonna get picked off slowly one by one. Got a few more in here I wanna shake out. The fish have eaten a lot of those minnows, but in all of this grass, there's gonna be a whole lot of different shrimp and other micro creatures, and those guys are gonna help take care of this algae, and they're not gonna be immediately noticed by these fish.
You can see here one of the snails kind of scooting around on the surface of the water, but as I was scooping stuff up in the front yard pond, I had noticed a whole lot of baby goggle-eye, and those things can absolutely overrun a pond, so I set out some fish traps to catch them and then fed them to my bass. Now they weren't all goggle-eye, like this one was just a regular bluegill, but they were all perfect size to feed the bass, and it makes it where the bass is less likely to eat our catfish as well.
Now this right here is a perfect example of why these guys are very difficult to keep in ponds without them becoming overpopulated. This dude is super fat because he eats all the food. They've got bigger mouths, they can eat bigger fish, and so they really outcompete all the rest of the fish in the area that they're in. So I don't think this guy's gonna last long enough to actually reproduce, but it is good to get him out of the front yard pond. Well, there he goes. Because now he's not gonna be eating all the resources that the other fish need in that front yard pond. If you compare the belly of that last one to the belly of one of these regular guys, he's not exactly super skinny, but he's definitely not a very healthy weight. So that's why we need to get rid of some of those bigger mouthed fish. Oh, missed it the first time and came back for it. Luckily, these guys are perfect size for the bass, so these are more feeder sized fish. We're not expecting these guys to really live out in the pool pond. All right. Now, some of you guys may think this is a little bit cruel because we are feeding fish to fish, but this is exactly how it would all work in nature. And I mean, the only other way we could do is starving these fish, which I'm definitely not going to do. And they need a very diverse diet. If I fed them worms every day, they would not get all the nutrients that they need. So unfortunately, even though we are having to feed fish to fish, that's how the nature works. And that's what they need to be healthy. We got quite a few of these minnows left. I'm just gonna go ahead and dump them all in and let the fish have a little feast. And here the fish go nuts, my goodness. So the thing is, if they can make it over here, they're perfectly safe. So there's a nice little safe haven. You can see all this movement on the surface. That's all kinds of little bait fish. So if they can make it over there, they're safe. They won't get eaten. But I do have to put some out in the open. That way the fish can actually have some food. So the ones that stay here in the plants, they're our breeding stock. They're gonna keep breeding. They'll stay in these plants probably for most of their lives. And then ones that venture too far off, well, you see what happens to them. Now, as you guys can see, there's a whole lot of this pond scum that's starting to float up, and the entire bottom is getting covered with all that nasty stuff. So we got some beneficial bacteria here that I'm gonna dump in that's supposed to help eat up all that nasty pond scum. So this is supposed to treat for like a larger pond, so I'm not gonna use the whole thing. I'm just gonna kind of drizzle a little bit on the surface. Eventually, as it hydrates, it's gonna fall towards the bottom and create a colony of perfect beneficial bacteria. Bacteria may seem like something bad to add to a pond, but the beneficial kind eats away all that nasty stuff that we need to get rid of. You know, now that I think about it, we didn't really have this issue until we got those catfish, and they've been stirring up the bottom. So I imagine they've been kicking up all this nasty stuff that was at the bottom and making it come up to the surface by swimming around. So maybe that's why, but in the end, those catfish are gonna be a good thing. And with this bacteria now helping it out, I think this pond scum is gonna be an issue we don't have to worry about so much in the next video.
Now, before the video can end, I promised one of you guys I'd do some more cast netting in the backyard pond, so we're going to see if we can catch a few more golden shiners. I didn't have a ton of daylight left, but I threw as many times as I could to get as many of these golden shiners as possible.
All right, there we go, some golden shiners. Couple of little baby bluegill.
I didn't want to keep any of the bluegill, so I threw them back. I wanted just a few more golden shiners so we could put them into the pool pond, and luckily for me, I caught 2 more in my final cast.
2 more golden shiners. Got quite a few here. I know all those small ones are gonna get eaten pretty much immediately, but the big one might be big enough to survive for a little while. Got all our fish here. We got our first. Oh, yep. Those small ones are gonna get eaten immediately. Okay, time for the big one. I do not think the bass are gonna be able to eat one this big. Nope. The hog just watched him swim on by, so I don't think that the big ones are gonna get eaten. I do think I have one more big shiner in here. I haven't seen him in the underwater footage, so maybe the Amphiuma took some bites out of him or something. But hopefully we'll have a good sustainable population of those shiners eventually. The problem is anytime I add them in here, they're usually eaten up before they can even swim off to cover. Next time when we come back, hopefully we'll have a super crystal clear pool pond, a whole lot of new species. I'm going after carp, I'm going after pickerel, I'm going after other types of catfish. I'm still after those. It's just I wasn't able to get to it all in this video. So you'll drop down your suggestions of what you want to see in the next video. I do read your comments. I do take your suggestions. Just some of them take a little bit of time. If you watched all the way to the end, chances are you like this content and you want to make sure you don't miss the next video. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like this video. And as always, guys, Jesus loves you. I love you. And y'all have a great day.
Today's scripture comes from 1 Corinthians 16, verses 13 to 14, and it says, "Stay awake, stand firm in your faith, be brave, be strong. Everything should be done in love." And that's my prayer for you guys this week. I pray that you guys stay awake, stand firm, be brave, be strong, but in everything, show love. I want to give a huge thank you to BLUETTI for sponsoring this video. That solar power generator is an absolute lifesaver, especially if you're like me and you live somewhere where there's lots of hurricanes, or if you're just the type that goes out camping, fishing, or anything like that. I'll see you guys in the next video, and as always, Jesus loves you, I love you, and have a great day. Consider clicking on one of these other videos on your screen right now, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.